We gon' walk it out and move all day. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
In December of 2005, I was about age 32. I found myself sitting across from a marriage therapist. But I was alone. My husband wasn't with me. We had been having marital problems for about, a year or two. We'd been married 9 years. And we had 3 young children, one to include my son, who had severe emotional and behavioral issues. So needless to say, our marriage was put on the back burner and neglected. So I'm sitting across from this therapist, and she asks me blatantly, "Do you even want to be in this marriage anymore?" I immediately said no. No, that word. It's a small word, only 2 letters. But to a people pleaser like me, that was a huge, courageous, scary word to say. See, I was raised in a family, all 4 girls, my beautiful sisters in the audience. We were raised to be, smile, friendly, accommodating, don't speak out too much, don't have strong opinions. So when that word came out of me, I actually startled myself. I couldn't believe I said it. When I got married, I changed my religion. I changed the way I dressed. I changed a lot about me. I stopped drinking alcohol, stopped drinking coffee. This all aligned with a certain belief system. I changed almost everything about myself when I got married, mainly because I wanted to be loved and accepted. One of my favorite books, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford, raised my awareness to know what I did to myself when I got married. I didn't know I was doing it. It was unintentional, but I had changed so much about myself to be accepted, to be loved. I think a lot of people can probably relate to that. This society sets all these standards for us. I took that to the extreme, of course, because that's just what I do. But in this book, she explains, picture a huge mansion with hundreds of rooms. Each room represents a part of ourselves. And when we're born, we don't label anything about ourselves as good or bad. We just are, right? But society slowly conditions us to think certain behaviors are bad, certain emotions are bad or good, But as we age, our teachers, our parents, our family members start telling us these things. So we start closing all these different doors. And that's really just closing off parts of ourselves. So, like I said, I took that to the extreme, closed almost all of my doors. And again, it was to be loved and to feel accepted. So again, I shut a lot of those doors, which left me very depressed, very numb. You could have come to me and told me I won $1 million and I wouldn't have cracked a smile. So that's the point that I was in my marriage. I was numb, very depressed. So I said no to the therapist. Now what? I had to go home and speak my truth again to my husband, who had no idea. That was even scarier. So that's exactly what I did. Straight from the therapy office, I went home, told him I was leaving him. And again, I had 3 young children. It literally felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Because again, this is something so outside the norm for me. I didn't speak my truth ever in the whole 9 years I was married. And again, that left me very, very numb. But in that moment that I said, no, I don't want to be married anymore, I spoke my truth, and it was a freeing moment. A little spark of light of who I was shone through, that I had literally changed my whole identity to be with him. And again, it's my own fault. I didn't know what I was doing to myself. So when I said that I was leaving him, my whole world turned upside down. I didn't know what I was going to do. But the beauty in that was I went on this journey of learning who I was and what I wanted out of life. Because for 9 years, I was doing everything for my husband, my 3 kids, a very challenging son. And so that left no time for me. I had a friend ask me, "So what makes you happy? What do you like to do for fun?" And I literally couldn't think of one thing in that moment. So I went on a journey of finding out what I wanted to do and what made me happy. And come to find out, I love dancing. So I enrolled in a ballroom dancing class. It was so fun. I, at age 37, went to college and I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in psychology. And I found my passion for psychology, all while I was a single mom. So that was a pretty big deal. So, in this journey of finding myself, I also came to the realization that I have no control over anybody else. That was another truth I had to come to terms with. And mainly that involved my son. He struggled from the day he was born. He was on the autism spectrum. So literally from day one he was born, I knew something was different about him. But even though he was different and he struggled, he was so brilliant. He could solve a Rubik's Cube in under 1 minute. Cody, my son's name is Cody. He built his own gaming PC at age 15, all on his own, self-taught. He also was a DJ, hence my tattoo, DJ Codex. That was his name. Self-taught DJ, music producer. He was brilliant and he had the biggest smile. And that's why I named the book Behind the Smile, because you don't know what's behind that smile. And some people, just because they smile, you don't know what battles they fight. So I had to come to the realization that I could not control him. He was his own person. And if you tried to fit him inside a box, you better be ready for a rude awakening, because he would fight you on it. So if I couldn't control him to take a 2-minute timeout as a little boy, or finish his homework, or stop yelling at the principal of the school, he did quite often. I was best friends with the principal. You know, how was I to control him when it came to him using drugs or not staying on his medication, his psych meds? I fought years and years and years to get him the help that he needed, but he had to come to that realization himself that he wanted the help, but he didn't want it. So I had to let go emotionally and mentally. And one day I had to kick him out of my house because he was using drugs, and that was against my rules. And literally he had to go live in his car. He was an adult, but as a mother, that went against everything I believed. I mean, us as parents, we're to protect our children, keep them safe from the cruel world, right? I couldn't do that. It felt like I was delivering him to the devil. But that was a day I had to say no to his self-destructive behaviors and yes to myself. That was a very, very hard day. But I had to let him go, and ultimately no human power could save him, not even me, his mother. And that's why I wrote this book, Behind the Smile, and launched it on his birthday, January 19th, to honor him and tell his story, to hopefully give hope to others that battle mental illness and addiction. And then, of course, writing the book helped me heal a little bit of my heart, and hopefully it brings healing to others. Thank you.
We gon' walk it out and move all day. And I rise up.